I'm starting a new project and I'm using Patreon as my platform. And I wanted to just go over a couple reasons why that is, why I use Patreon in particular. The biggest thing is that it allows me to control the content that I publish. So for instance, most of the stuff is free. Allows me to run a podcast like this one. Allows me to publish audio, like in other words, my demos and other sort of behind the scenes stuff. I can publish videos, YouTube videos or Vimeo videos or text posts. And it sends an email out and I can control whether or not that email goes out or if I don't wish to send an email. And I can lock particular content. So for instance, I don't want to share my demo songs just with the general web. I want to keep them locked for people who want to hear them and are patrons only, but also just to keep them from being scraped by AI, where AI could take the song, turn it into something and release it way before I could. So I'm going to kind of try to put some other protections in place like that. So that's really good. So the first thing is control of content. The second thing is that one thing that they're doing in the new platform is it's really a place where creatives are. And it's not just musicians, it's podcasters, it's poets, it's teachers, it's filmmakers. I mean, there's just so many different types of projects on here. And when I look at just how I share content on social currently and other platforms, for the most part, the people who are interested are other creatives. That's at least the first wave. It's very hard to get someone to care about a creative project who's not a creative themselves. Look, that's ultimately the goal when I'm doing this, but it's not the first wave of interest in this stuff. And here's the other thing. All of those platforms where you're trying to share your materials, all of the bigs are compromised. Algorithmically, they downrank your posts. If you put a link in it, it won't get shown to people. And Patreon's trying to figure that out, and they've launched a new thing called Quips. You can try this out. It's up in the upper menu of my page, so you can see what I've posted so far and what others have posted too. It's a new social media platform, and they're trying to, look, they got 1 million users. Compared to the bigs, that's a very small base, but given the fact that it is a community of creators, that's great. These are the folks that I want to connect with, ask for help, get them to offer feedback on something I might post. We're only a week into this so far, but it's very, very promising. And in general, what I've been trying to do, whether it's here or in social platforms, is just get into smaller spaces. The bigs are failing us, and if we're going to want to, try to get our ideas out there, propagate new concepts, you can't do it within the power structures that want to keep us suppressed. So we've got to look for smaller spaces. So that's really the next big reason. And I guess the third reason is, given all of that, when you think of all the different media outlets and how we share our and communicate with others, all of those platforms in effect are owned by right-wing entities. I don't need to cover all of these, but for the most part, from social to streaming, we're dealing with large, monolithic, multinational corporations like Facebook, like Spotify, like Google, TikTok, Twitter. These are deeply unethical companies. And the thing I like about Patreon is that it has stayed true to its initial ethos. And the owners there, led by Jack Conte, who started this, over the dozen years, or I forget when Patreon started, but they've maintained their ethics, and that's a rarity in today's world. And so it makes it really, it just makes it a better platform for that. I don't want to be doing business For instance, with an entity like Spotify, I pulled my whole catalog. Running ICE ads, deeply unethical to artists, and then of course there was a major investment, $750 million to AI military tech. I was like, look, I know it's a major platform, but I don't want to be associated with violence. That's not what I'm here to do. And, we got to make our choices with that. Does that hamper me? Maybe, but look, probably not. Same thing, trying to get off Instagram. I'm there because my community's there. But I don't want to be there. It's not a fun platform. They don't help. In point of fact, they actively work against us. And if we're really honest with ourselves as creatives, it's not really helping us. So I'm still there for the moment, but I'm trying to make every effort to get off these platforms. So anyway, that's why I'm here on Patreon, and that's why I'm doing this project here. This is something I am more excited about than I have been anything else in a while, and urge you to get involved. I'm not a leader in this. To me, my goal is to write the manifesto and then have artists of all different types join and try to just leave behind the old systems and build a new one in its place. And if we do it right and make it attractive to others, they will follow. There's a lot of work. It's not going to be just me. It's going to be all of you. And so I hope that you'll follow along with this, and left links for you and all that, so you can just sort of get a sense of an overview of the project. It's just beginning right now, and kind of cool if you could get in on the ground floor and help me develop the ideas, the concept, and most importantly, do your work in your way in service of these larger goals. That'd be a lot of fun. So, all right, that's my first test episode on this, and let's see how this whole thing plays out. Glad to have you with me. Cheers.